I often talk about being a happiness seeker as opposed to a pleasure seeker. But that doesn't mean that obtaining my happiness doesn't also bring me pleasure. It's just the primary point behind the effort is that I want it to bring a happiness, a deep internal happiness, rather than a momentary and fleeting sense of pleasure. When I do something or say something, I want it to be able to bring me a sense of completion, a sense of doing the right thing, a sense of knowing that it's taking me where I want to go, as opposed to pleasure seeking. Happiness seeking is a longer term project. Pleasure tends to be momentary. As they say about eating chocolate, a moment on the lips but forever on the hips. And you're paying the price for that pleasure seeking. Now, pleasure isn't always bad. I'm not suggesting that either. But pleasure seeking doesn't always bring you pleasure. For instance, if you're eating something that's incredibly pleasurable but not particularly good for you, by the time you eat 3 or 4 or 5 of them, you start feeling like it's hurting you. When we are doing things that are happiness directed, they're going to feel good to us all the time. Of course, you can overdo anything. I'm not saying that. But happiness is a sensation that lasts and lasts. Whereas pleasure, you can just look back and say, oh, that was momentary pleasure, but now I need to seek another dose of pleasure. It's a very unsatisfactory fix.